Hello everyone, I'm host Brandon Richards and this is Hear Me Out. Today we are joined by VALLEYBOYZERO. How are you today, Lou?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I felt like this is a long time coming.
Yeah.
And just kind of wanted to share a piece of my mind and like nothing controversial, don't worry.
No, of course. Of course.
But now just like kind of offer a bit of insight which I've never really got to put out there creatively and yeah, I'm just looking forward to our chat. Like.
Well, you've had a busy year, man, from a big change. You know, of course, stepping down from Valley events, pursuing your faith journey and going into your own artistry. I mean, first and foremost, the scene, the Welsh scene, which you are so a massive part of and still is today. How's it been for you in this past year?
Bro, it's mad. Like you need to think. I've been involved within the scene and like the Welsh music industry now since 2021-ish. So to like take a little bit of a step back from industry work and focus all on artistry is like, it's a transition, bro, yeah. But it's something which feels a bit fresh. Like I kind of started as an artist and fell into everything else through that. So it's almost like a full circle moment.
Does it feel unnatural or does it feel like it's a natural occurrence?
Yeah, bro, it does feel a bit like, the only way to explain it is like a full circle, bro. Like it's a full circle moment because, as I said, like my first ever event which I performed at was also the first ever event I put together. So to come back, it's almost like coming back to my first love, man.
Yeah, man. How was that for you, though? I mean, take us back to when you've done your first event. Yeah. Of course, the beginning of Valley events to now what it is today. And the beginning of your artistry, really. How was that to start off with?
So I would say the first event I ever did actually wasn't part of Valley events. That was, I met this boy, Ramal, when I was up in uni in Birmingham. And he's actually from Cardiff. And as we were speaking about Wales and music within Wales, like, it was one of them things where he was like, okay, there isn't really opportunities to perform, so let's just kind of do it ourselves. And we did it, you know. It was in the Neon in Newport, 7th of August, 2021. And yeah, bro, it's surreal, to be fair.
How did you find that first experience, that first event managing experience or promoting?
From an event perspective or artist perspective?
Give me the event one first.
It was mad, bro. Like, you need to think, I did it mainly because of my art.
Yeah.
Like, my artistry. So the kind of motivation behind it was to perform. But then I actually found out that I had a love for events, like through that event, which is kind of mad, really.
And then how did that then transition into Valley events and the creation of Valley events?
So I guess once I found that, like, that love which I had for it, and I didn't even realize it, like, I don't know, bro. I guess there was kind of something in me planted in that sound. Like, imagine it was like a seed, yeah? Like a seed, and it grows over time. And I think the seed was planted in like, yo, I want to do more events. Because there was a season where I was like performing on other people's shows and kind of getting out there as an artist. But once I felt like the time was right, and it kind of happened naturally, which is just so mad, like Lanx and Kaylin as well. There was actually 3 of us in Valley events to start. And it kind of just happened naturally, bro, like a year later.
And how did you, Lanx and Kaylin, get to creating Valley events and creating the community and to what it is really today?
So Lanx was doing events down in London around the same time which I kind of fell into events. And then you'll have to speak to him about it. He says it a lot, but he's always like, I was helping a community out, but not my own.
Yeah.
And he had that fire in him then, and he kind of, you know, we're all from like Risca and the Valley area, so it was kind of like something for him. He was like, yo, I'm thinking about doing an event, like, what you boys saying? And he was just like, yeah, why not, you know?
And that was the birth of Valley events.
That was the birth of Valley events, bro. Like,
just like that.
We actually started off with raves.
Yeah.
Raves are mad. Like,
I bet, bro.
I was saying to you earlier, like, with our events, I would make sure that I was sober because for me, it was about the music.
Of course.
And it's always been about the music and the bigger vision behind it.
Yeah.
So being around that environment sober, it can throw you off a little bit.
But you had some experiences there, man.
Yeah,
I bet you had some experiences there. How
the
did you find, though, the challenges of actually running these events? And
bro, it's mad. Like,
especially early on.
I think there's so many moving parts, and don't get it twisted, bro. Like, people don't even know this, yeah. But sometimes we had events where no one showed up apart from the artists.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the side of Valley events people don't see. Like, they see the sellout shows, they see all these artists going mad on a stage, but it never used to be like that. And praise God, man. Yeah.
And how did you bounce back from that? Like, how, as an event promoter, and then you turn up and there's no one at the event, how do you bounce back, man? Where do you go from there? Do you like, keep the event going? Do you change the event how it goes? Like, it's like
everything, bro. Like, I think some of the reasons were it was like we was pushing territory outside the way we would usually do an event.
Yeah.
Like, it's like anything, bro, in life. You're gonna take L's, and especially when you're experimenting. Especially when you're experimenting with things, and this is just in general. Like, there's gonna be things that you find out along the way, and I think that them important things that we learned, we was like, okay, we learned not to do that.
Yeah.
So we just kind of, picked up and kept going.
So it all felt necessary, so to speak. It all felt necessary in terms of the journey into a promoter, and
not the time.
Not the time.
In
hindsight.
Yeah, I don't think I realized what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Like, not in a bad way.
No.
But like, just as like, bro, you're in the arts as well. Like,
I know what it's like, bro.
They described it in uni as like a squiggly career. Like, you have so many careers in the past, yeah, and it's like linear. So you have like, you work this job and then you work your way up the company into like better positions. But anyone who's in the arts knows it's not like that. Yeah,
it's nothing like that. There's nothing like that.
And that's what I mean, bro. Like, I didn't realize what I was getting into, but like, it's all part of a bigger plan.
Yeah, man. It's up and down, innit? It's very up and down. But that's sort of the beauty of it, and that's sort of, I feel, why a lot of people fall in love with the industry and fall out of it as well. It's because of how up and down it can be, and it can get you. It can get you, man. You can be on top of the world one moment and then at the bottom at the next. Did you feel like you went through that during the event organising, and of course still thinking about your artistry career?
Yeah, definitely, bro. Like, I think that like along the journey, there's things which can rise up in you, and whether that be, jealousy, selfish ambition, and like, or you look at something and you're like, oh, I could have done that, and it's almost quite critical and I think that's the reason I had to kind of step back, like, not knowing like I think we all go through it, like, just because of the industry and the way it is, like, and with the up and downs, and it takes you back to the thing. Then it's like, why are we actually doing this? And even though if like it gives you satisfaction, it always feels like you're always chasing that next rush, and it's not until I like really found God, bro, where it's like there was a void I was trying to fill.
Yeah, man.
And like it was filled with God and not the things that
you thought were needed to be filled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the nature of the beast, man, isn't it? It's very much the nature of the beast. But going back to the scene, you look since 2021 when you first got involved from an artistic standpoint and an event standpoint. How do you feel the scene now has grown, especially within South Wales, and you being at the forefront of it? You've been able to see every part of it and every almost step up the mountain.
It's crazy, bro. Like, it's surreal. Like, I remember, because I looked at it from an artist point of view, and there was shows I performed at before, and there was like 5 people there, bro. Like, and a lot of the people who's in the scene now, they don't remember what it was like because there was no opportunity to get in.
There was no scene. There was no scene.
So they like, don't get it twisted. Like, shout out the generation before us. Of
course,
we got like Maester Greats, and they were always doing stuff. But I think that with our generation and like our age artists, bro, there was no opportunities there, and that's where we really wanted to break the mold and
bring
that's what happened.
Yeah, bring opportunities. Well, you look at like the generation of like the likes of Maester Great, they had to almost venture out of South Wales to get them opportunities.
Yeah.
Where did you feel like you've seen the gap of where there was opportunity in South Wales? Because we had such a plethora of artists that wanted to be shown and wanted to almost be involved, and talent, and the pure talent there that was not given the opportunity to show. Is that a big part of your motivation?
I think that, yeah, 100%, like the Wales centric. I mean, to be fair, Mace has undoubtedly done great things for
Unbelievable.
Cardiff, you know, and Wales. Like, I think that there was a problem where, because there was no opportunities homegrown, people would then go into these places like London and, you know, other cities across the UK to get them opportunities. And we was kind of losing our talent. So you need to think like what Lanks said, and Lanks was a massive part of this. He was obviously saying about like, he wants to build some of his own community because he was doing it in London. And then he was like, nah, there's something we need to build it here. And I think that was definitely a motivation, yeah.
How do you feel like your work relationship was with Lanks? Because the amount you actually achieved in a very short amount of time. I mean, you go to the events and then you even go to the award show in the Senev. And like I said, the countless events that you put forward. How do you feel like you work so well together? And what was your work relationship like? How did that go?
Bro, well, I'll be real. We were friends before we like done any of this. And I think that that's so important. Like, I feel sometimes people can go into business or work with people to like, you know, just because it's convenient on a business level, but there needs to be that chemistry. And like, we had a strong friendship before, so there was always that trust, like especially if money's involved, bro, that trust is key.
It's important.
Yeah. So I think that our relationship, our business relationship, was based off our friendship, and yeah, it's like, when it's a genuine friendship, it's so much easier. It's so much more fun as well.
Yeah, definitely. And you could see that. You could see that in the way you guys worked and pushed the scene forward. But of course, to bring it back to that Senev show, that was the moment when you announced that you were stepping down from Valley events and from the community, and not necessarily from the scene, but just from the position that you was in. How was that for you to make that choice? How did that come about? Bro, what was your thoughts? What was your emotions?
It's mad. Like, I can't lie. The way I see Valley events is like my baby, bro.
Yeah.
So leaving it was like, whoa, man. Like, I felt emotional. Like, especially when I made the decision, bro. Like, I was really emotional about it. And I always love Valley events, but I felt like where I was on my own faith journey, like I said, when I found that void was filled with God, it was like, I realized I was being called into a different place. And I've always got that love for Valley events, but there were certain environments I needed to distance myself from. Not in like a prideful way, but in a way of like, it's easy to get sucked into what the world's doing. And, you know, just other things which don't fill your soul.
Just almost protecting your energy.
Yeah, but like, you know, if you want to keep it so real, bro, like as I said, and I'll use this as an example. Like, we did Dappy. We supported Dappy in Newport, right? And we supported it with Welsh artists on a lineup. And do you know what's mad? After every show, we would go back to Lanks's house, right? And, you know, we just kind of chill there, like, kind of break down the night and be like, yo, do you remember when this happened? And that one, I don't know what it was. There was something just off. And you would think that, like, that's our biggest achievement on paper. And yet, there was something which was so empty. And like I said, it goes back to that void, bro. Like, it goes back to that void. Only God, only Jesus can fill that void, man.
And moving into that, your personal faith journey, of course, that being a big motivation, along with pursuing your own artistry, from stepping down from that role. How important is faith to you? And
bro,
as you mentioned, that void that God and Jesus fills.
It's everything, bro. Like, it's everything. Like, as I said, when I kind of got lost in the industry and I was looking, oh, I need to get to this place because that'll fill what I'm looking for. Like we're all looking for something, bro, you know? And I realized that the thing that I was looking for was God. It was Jesus, man. And when I invited him into my life and I really was genuinely serious about it.
Have you always been a man of God?
I grew up in a church.
Okay.
I gave my life when I was like 11. I grew up in a Christian household. But, man, I just do my own thing, you know? I was being disobedient, and that got worse. That got worse, like, the older I kind of got, until there was a situation, bro, where, to be honest, I was at breaking point. It really pushed me to my limits, and, man, the only way that I got out of that hole was God. Like, God pulled me out of that hole when I didn't deserve it.
Sometimes you need to go to them points, and that you hear a lot of stories. A lot of people go through them similar experiences, whether it be this or that, and that's how they find a fill to that void.
100%. Well, when I look at it this way, when you're trying to fill, when you're trying to find fulfillment in all of these different things, yeah, like when you're trying to find it, it can lead you to a place of like you just don't know what's going on. You don't know who you're becoming. You got all these different things rising up in you, and I think it gets to that point.
Yeah, it's a scary place to be.
Yeah,
it's
man.
a scary place to be.
It's why there's like addictions and that. It's because we're all trying to fill a void, whether we understand that we are or we don't. We're all trying to fill a void. We're all looking for something, and Jesus is the only way.
It's searching for that connection, isn't it? It's trying to find that connection. I think that's why you see a lot of people lost, and even in the industry that we're talking about, you see a lot of people lost in certain ways because they're trying to feel that connection that they're just not feeling.
100%, bro. And like, man, keeping it so real, music is so spiritual, bro. Like, we may not even realize it, but it's influencing us. Like, you know, the things that we listen to now. I know we mentioned just now about drill. And yeah, drill may not be the causal effect of it, but it's an influence.
Of course.
And bro, I see kids running about with valleys now. Like,
yeah, man.
Bro, when I was a kid, I was going around on my scooter.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. I remember we used to get looks just for wearing our hoods up. Like, if we going into Cardiff town, just for wearing our hoods up, we'd get looks, and people would always be suspicious. But full out valleys, man.
But let me say then, like, what do you think? Like, what do you think? How do you think that's happened?
Well, I've got a couple of opinions that you asked me. I think our generation's at a lot of fault to that, and I say this for a certain reason. I feel like the generation before us, you know, just a bit older than us, I feel like they were almost a bit harder on us in terms of, again, if we walk around with a ballet or say we were misbehaving and it was old as there, like we couldn't get away with it. Especially around by me, like we used to be kept in check. But I feel like we are kept in check so much now. The generation after us, that we would sort of be a bit nicer, be a bit like let stuff fly a bit more, just because we are like, we ain't gonna be like how they were older. And I think that we've let a lot fly. And I think maybe even the generation before, might have felt the same way before that. But like, I feel because we almost let stuff fly a bit more, I feel like that's why there's this sort of almost like arrogance and invincibility that these young people might feel. And again, where they're getting these influences. And I also think, as my second reason, is there's less influences out there for kids, so they get influenced more by smaller things. 100%. So we speak about the drill, and we speak about this certain energy that's been put out there. As much as that there's always been that type of influence, even for us growing up and even for the generation before. But I feel like there's so many more other influences in your life that would sort of balance it out. I feel like there's a sort of imbalance now within that, without how it's growing up. And that's why I feel like we see see a lot more easily influenced kids because of the less influence that you see about.
Like you said, with like almost role models, innit? And that's what I mean. It's like you look at these rappers, and like for young minority kids, like that's often something that they look up to, you know? You got football players, and that's the problem, bro. Like, we shouldn't be idolizing any human, because 100%. We're all flawed, bro. We're all messed up, and
no one's perfect.
And that's what I mean. It's like it all comes back to God. And when our influence is in the wrong place, like this kind of thing happens.
You can go anywhere. And I wouldn't even say it's the individual's fault. Because again, it just goes back to influence and what really... Your motivation is that void. It's like we just go back to looking for that connection. It goes back to that void that people are trying to fill through these type of behaviours.
100%, bro. And that's what I mean. So bringing it all back around, like with Valley events, and when I step back, it's like that void, I feel like I didn't need to fill that void anymore because it was full. So with Valley events, like I was just like, okay, I think my time is up.
So moving into this next step now, into where your faith journey has gone to now, it's brought to you, and your artistry. How have you almost crossroaded them where they go in the same place together?
So this is what I mean, bro. God works in mysterious ways, bro. Like on a real. And and it's funny, like, because I feel like I'm called to music, but whether that's artistry or I'm not too sure. I think that there's multiple roles it crosses. Now, the way that they've actually combined is this. We ended up doing a church event. So with the church, I was like, look, I used to do these rap events, and like I said, it's the environment that we're in. And that makes it so important with the influence we're pushing. So we did a worship night, yeah? Like we did, booked out the Corn Exchange just not too far from here. And it was mad, bro. So it was almost combining everything which I had in the past and everything I'd learned and all the skills and using it for the glory of God.
How does that make you feel in terms of we go back to that void?
I feel full.
Full.
And that's what I mean. It's like, look at the contrast between that and Dappy now.
Yeah.
Like, it can be a worship event on a Thursday in Newport, yeah? Or it can be Dappy and we're supporting with Welsh artists. And I felt so much more fuller with that. Now explain that to me, bro. Like, because on paper, that doesn't make sense.
Of course.
That was our biggest attendance event with Valley Events. There was like 500 people there, obviously supporting Dappy. And then I'm doing a church event with the church, a worship event, glorifying God. And I felt so much more full. I felt fulfilled, in fact, you know? Like, I was in tears at the event, bro.
That's amazing. No, that's what you want to be feeling, though. And it goes back to, again, where your artistry now has come forward. And would you feel like that side of you is now influencing more of your artistry and your music now?
100%. Like, it goes back to the drill thing. I think that we got to be so careful what we're pushing out, what we're listening to. Like, whether that be through, like, you know, it can be what we're watching, what we're listening to, because it all influences us, right? Now, with my music now, as I'm in this place spiritually with God, I feel like almost obligated to, not obligated, but I want to do it as well, push out positive message. And that's the message of faith, God, Jesus, you know, and just having a positive, soulful feeling to my music.
Do you feel that changes your motivation in creating the music?
For sure.
And the music you're putting out and the, not necessarily the level of quality, but the message?
For sure, bro. Like, again, filling that void, right? Like, now, I'm not looking at this as a thing of like, oh, I want to be this big or whatever. It's like, I'm just being obedient, man. Like, if God's telling me to, you know, make music which glorifies him, then I'm going to do it.
So go down the road that God has paid for you.
Bro, the road that God has paved for us is so much better. It's so much bigger than we can imagine. And he knows us better than we know ourselves, bro. So it's like, man, my future's in his hands. I'm surrendered to him.
And all trust in God.
Bro, all faith, man.
Do you feel like that takes pressure off you as well?
Yeah, for sure.
It takes that weight off you?
Like, bro, even financially, you need to think, I left the business and there's no, like, I do a bit of financial, freelance work, but there's no, like, regular finances coming in. And
which is a big risk.
It is.
Especially at this age.
But it's trusting God. Like, God is the provider. And like you said about taking pressure off, for sure, bro. Like, I know that it's not on me. God's really calling me to do this. Now, I don't know where that goes necessarily. I don't know the destination, but it's come to the point where I'm enjoying the journey.
Yeah, man. And even to see where it's brought you in the first place, again, a young boy from Risca to be so involved within the Welsh rap scene, just being from Risca and being the sort of, go back to the name, Valley Events, comes from you and Lanks, two Valley boys. How's it feel coming from the Valleys and trying to push into an industry that's almost so very industrial, so very urban?
It's like Cardiff-centric.
That's what I was going to say. It's very city-centric and almost being that so rural.
Well, I mean, you can look at it two ways, right? I think one way, everything runs through Cardiff. It's almost the London of Wales, right? So whether that's Wrexham, whether that's Newport, whether that's the Valleys, everything runs through Cardiff. So almost when you're in that environment, you are outsiders
it's
by
true.
default.
Even the trains, all the trains
bro,
run through
the
Cardiff.
trains,
All the trains that go in Wales run through Cardiff.
You get me? So this is the point, right? The valleys, we felt like outsiders, but I think that helped us. I think that helped us because where people didn't want to help each other within the city, we didn't really have any ties. So it was like, we don't care, we'll put you all on. Like, because I don't really understand what's going on in Cardiff like that. But like I felt that it was very cliquey, and it needed people from the outside to come in. And then secondly, I would say the valleys have got its own problems, bro. 100%. There's no, and this was a thing for me. There's no creative roles really. Like everyone is laborers basically, and that's cool if you want to do that. But I know that there's people in the valleys which want to pursue creative careers.
And being from the valleys, do you feel it's not impossible? Because of course nothing's impossible, but that's almost like a mindset that's drawn in that if you do want to have a career in a creative industry, that is not many outlets to go through.
Not if you want to stay there. So if your family's there, and like I'll be honest, most valley families have stayed in the same town for
of course, naturally.
Bro, listen to this, and this just offers a bit of perspective, right? Like my mum, so we live on the same street, just down the other end that my mum grew up on.
Yeah, that's mad.
So think about this, bro.
That's mad.
Like she moved to like some different places, but it shows how like small it is, how enclosed in community. 100%. And I guess that the maddest thing is for me, like obviously being mixed, I knew like in my blood growing up, I always knew there was bigger than the valleys.
Yeah, of course. So knowing you come from outside of that as well.
But that's the thing. If 4 generations back, all your family are in the valleys, like
how are you going to know any different?
You don't exactly. You don't know any different. So that was a massive thing for me. And like I said, there's opportunities there, but you got to leave. And I think there needs to be a thing where you don't have to leave and you can still pursue it. Because I think there's potential, bro.
Most definitely. And even leaving for you, coming into Cardiff, you mentioned earlier about the sort of the shock of way the scene worked and the sort of clickiness of it. Do you think that's what almost held Cardiff and realistically held the Welsh scene back a lot?
I still think it does to a certain extent, bro. Like clicks are always going to happen naturally, right? Like, to be honest, some people may look at what we did with Valley events and be like, oh, they're performing, and they may view it as clicky, you know? Like, I'd probably disagree, but I would also say that when you know that you can rely on an artist to bring tickets, put on a show, then you are going to use them. So it's not so much intentionally clicky, but I think that it is always going to hold scenes back, and I think it always does, you know, like it's crabs in a bucket, innit?
Yeah.
And I think we're naturally like that if our motivation is like for our self-gain.
Definitely, because you look at, again, I'm not just going to say Cardiff, because really it's Welsh or even South Wales scene. The potential that we spoke about and the golds that are in the rough are there. This sort of, again, I'm not just going to say clickiness. I don't think that really explains the full story, but it's almost holding each other back. It's almost not let's put our arms together and let's work together for this, because the potential, if we did and if we could create our own bubble of the scene, even if it's just the Welsh scene. If we all come together and use that as almost platform for each other, I mean, really, the sky's the limit, really, because especially as a culture, if you look from a culture perspective, the scene of the culture, or the culture of the scene, should I say?
Yeah.
The culture of the scene, that it's almost very attainable, it's very attractive. So,
and I think that there's also something about Wales, bro. Like we're both Welsh, yeah. Like we may have other things in us, but there's something about Welsh people, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, and there's almost like a charisma which comes with it.
It's a love as well. It's a love. It's a love.
For sure. Like as I was saying earlier, bro, when it's in London, like people are so like fast paced and so like they're like low-key rude.
Yeah, no, definitely, man, definitely.
And I feel like in Cardiff you can say hello to anyone, you know. And I think that there's 100% potential, yeah? And me and Lanks, we used to have the same conversation, yeah? We said, look at Glastonbury. Why on earth, if the music festival, take away the music festival, you wouldn't even know what Glastonbury is.
Yeah.
Now picture that. If people come together, yeah, and put on Glastonbury, and now it's known as one of the biggest UK festivals, imagine what could happen if it's in somewhere like Cardiff, bro.
I mean, it's like I said just then, the sky's the limit, really, for them. And again, that's why Valley events are so important, and why almost the community as well that you built there, and the sort of opportunities that you were given to other people. How important do you feel like was in terms of create not just you and Lanks being the sole promoters and that was how you would distribute your work, but getting other people on board and teaching?
Bro, it was part of the big vision, I guess. I think that passing on knowledge is so important. And as much as there's gatekeeping, there's also gatekeeping in knowledge, bro. And that can be contacts to venues. That can be, you know, industry people who can actually help. Like, it was so clicky. Because there was some great people who connected like us with mentors, and we just learned off them. And I think that passing on that knowledge is so important because you learn things. Mentorship basically fast tracks you. So we were like, okay, people can't get to a certain level because there's a lack of knowledge. Yeah. So we just got to spread that knowledge, man.
How did you find that process? In terms of, again, like you said, you only was a couple of years into it yourself. You and Lanks, and especially they're working together. How was it, the process of distributing that knowledge, distributing that context, being almost the connector between so many different moving parts?
Like I said, bro, it goes back to the L's that we took with the events where no one showed up.
Yeah.
Like, it was almost like they became so valuable because we was like, look, we did this and it didn't work. You don't have to make these mistakes because we did. And in an event, you don't really want it to flop because it's like a month minimum preparation.
Yeah, of course.
And something that we used to find is like a crash after you do an event. I don't know if you find it with certain things that you do, but there was like a crash because it was like a month preparation and then it's kind of done and you're like, oh,
it's almost done. Like you come down from it, don't you? You come down, you're at the high, you're up on top of the world, and you put so much of your energy, your internal energy into it. And then when to finish, it's like, oh.
100%, bro. So I think it was almost like them lessons that we learned from them L's so important, and we was just like, look, don't do this instead. And yeah, bro.
So Valley events, now that you've fully stepped down, because I can imagine that was a process in itself. How does it feel looking from the outside in, almost looking like on the window outside in, looking at Valley events and what they're doing and how it's still going?
It's crazy. Like, as I said, it's like my baby, right? And I think, yeah, I'm not a parent. Yeah. I'm not a parent. But imagine this though, like, I think there comes a point where you gotta step back so your baby can grow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, man.
So it's like for example, if your parent's holding your hand the whole process, then it can't grow and it can't mature in itself. It's almost reliant. And I feel like that's how I feel with it. I feel like looking at it, I'm like, whoa, this is mad. But it's almost nice to see it through a different lens. Do
you feel like you got to a point where you could sit back and let go of it?
100%.
Do you know what I mean? It weren't just a point where you were going like, I'm going for my own personal journey and my own personal thing, but it was at a point where you and Lanks grew it to what it became, and it was an appropriate time.
It was a process. Like, we kind of got a system down in place. Like, if it was a show, we knew what we was doing, because at this point we may have got like 20 shows in, 20 events in. So it's like, we all knew what needed to be done, the process of actually doing it. And yeah, I knew Lanks could handle it. And I think it goes back to God, bro. It's like everything works in God's timing. And I just knew for myself that there was almost a peace I had about it. And I was like, that's strange because, you know, like, but even Lanks was like, no, I've got this, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, there was just a complete peace, and I just knew it was the right thing.
It's the perfect timing. So, Lou, where are you now? Where do you find yourself to the day now? How many months away from stepping down?
Only like, well, we're in September now, so I stepped down properly at the end of June. So, third month?
Third month.
Yeah,
Stepping down. Where'd you go now from?
Man.
Is it more focused on your art history? Is it doing more of these church events? Where do you find yourself now? Is it putting new music out there? What's next for VALLEYBOYZERO is what I'm asking you.
Do you know what? Yeah, I think it's one of them things where it's like, man, I'm trusting God. Like, I'm putting music out in the meantime. Like, I don't really know what could be around the corner, but I'm trusting God, bro. And wherever he says, you know, it's time for another church event, wherever he says, you know, just do this. I think that me being not tied to anything is where he wants me right now. And that's, you know, that goes beyond music, bro. That goes like even the message I'm trying to spread with my music. Like, I'm also spreading that without my music, and that's, you know,
Just as important.
Jesus is the way, bro. You know, like, music is my outlet for that. But also, like, I'm like that without the music. So I think it's important for me not to be tied to anything and just be available and opportunistic.
What would you say your message is now?
Bro.
Because again, you've grown so
Jesus
much in the
loves
last
you,
years.
man. Like, I know it sounds mad, but Jesus loves you. Yeah, he loves every single one of us. He created us, bro. And he died for our sins. And all we got to do is repent and say, like, Lord, we've all got these things in us. You know, we've all got this sin in us. And he will fill our void, bro. And he will change your life around. I've seen it for myself in this past, like, year where I've been walking with him. I've seen it for other people who's in my circles and around as well, bro. So that's my message, bro. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and no one gets to the Father except through him, man. So he loves you. He's got a plan for you, and yeah, bro, that's the message.
It's a beautiful message, man. It's a beautiful message. So, Lou, thank you very much for coming here today. It's been an absolute pleasure, man.
Thank you, bro.
Amazing conversation, and also amazing opportunity for you to give your side of the story and your any outlets, of course, for making that such a big change.
100%. Thank you, bro.
Thank you very much. So that was the Hear Me Out, brought to you by Brandon Richards, and we'll see you next time.